Welcome to a real cult classic, where we talk about, well, your favorite cult classics. A little bit of pop culture, a smattering of old Hollywood gossip, with a side of scandal and intrigue. I'm your esteemed cult leader, Megs, from the Cult of Megs, and this is my friend, your friend, Cult Elder, Auntie Amy. Amy, say hi to the cult. Oh, that's right, she's not here this week. That's awkward. Anyway, it's November, and even though we're not necessarily covering something spooky, like we did last month, I refuse to let go of this intro. So, viewer, beware. You're in for a scare. And I guess it does work because scares we have had aplenty over this past week and a half. And yes, I am referring to the American election. And if you were unaware that I would be displeased with the results, then you have not been paying attention. One of the reasons why our dear Auntie Amy is not here with us this week, well, there's two reasons. She had the flu and she was feeling very unwell, so we were giving her time to be on the mend. And two, she got hit hard by the election, like I did, like a lot of us did. And it's hard to show up and do a little podcast and talk about our silly little things. Well, sometimes we don't talk about silly little things, but talk about silly little things when the world feels like it's literally on fire. Probably because it is literally on fire. So I understand. I've had a hard time doing research. It's also just really hard to exist on the internet with all of this stuff going on because people kind of suck, if we're being honest with one another. And since Amy's not here to talk to me, this is just going to be me talking to you about my own feelings because I have them. I have feelings. It gets a little exhausting when you just want to bring levity to people. And even when you're trying to bring levity, people can't handle it. Like, you're not allowed to find any level of joy when there's so much suffering in the world. And that's just a really terrible place to be. Like, if you feel guilty finding any modicum of joy, please don't. Please look for the joy that you can have. Like, I went out to go to the grocery store after the election results. Like, we woke up in the morning and we found out that Trump was president-elect, and I had to go to the grocery store, and I said to my husband, "You see those orange Gerber daisies? I'm buying them." And he said, "You do what you need to do." And they have sat up on my bookshelf because my cats will eat them otherwise, in a nice little blue vase, and they have brought me nothing but joy for the past week. And I take them down, and I cut their little stems, and I refresh their water, and I remind myself that everything is cyclic, and we will keep going on and on and on. And we're going to make it through, and we're going to be okay eventually. Because we always do, right? We endure, human beings do. But I think that Amy and I are going to talk about it a little bit more when we gather together to film the next episode. As you may or may not know, there was a Sephora sale. And I'm a big makeup fan. I like makeup history. I like all of it. And so I texted Amy and I said, "Amy, what if we did some sort of historical makeup type thing and looked into maybe the founders of some of the original beauty brands?" And I have decided this week to cover Elizabeth Arden because she's Canadian. Did you know that? It's true. So let's talk about Elizabeth Arden, shall we? Florence Nightingale Graham, yes, that was her birth name, was born on December 21st, 1881 in Woodbridge, Ontario. Now, right out the gate, I have to tell you that no two articles on Florence are the same, right down to her birthday. Very little is known of her early life, and even though there is a surviving official record testifying to both her place and date of birth that is signed by her brother, even her birthday isn't the same anywhere, despite this record existing. Both Florence and her brother have her birth year listed as 1881, but on her 1915 marriage certificate, she listed it as 1883, and on her 1920 passport application, she has it listed as 1886. So even Florence wasn't consistent with her birthday. But I mean, what a wild time to be alive, eh? You can just put whatever birth year you want on your passport and just like go abroad. Even her official biography on the Elizabeth Arden website has her birth year listed as 1878. So we're going to roll with 1881. I'm going to go with the official document. Now, her parents, William and Susan, were immigrants from the UK. They had moved to Canada from Cornwall in the 1870s. I was going to say 1970s. It's 1870s. Although Florence didn't get much time with her mother, who passed away when Florence was 6 from tuberculosis. Her father, William, worked multiple jobs to care for Florence and her 4 siblings, her brother, also named William, and sisters Christine, Lillian, and Jessie. William struggled to support the family on his own. Because of this, Florence would leave school early and would work a number of jobs such as a secretary, a dental assistant, a bookkeeper, and a cashier. She also attended nursing school in Toronto. I guess when they name you Florence Nightingale, you have to give nursing a shot, right? But she ended up dropping out. She was not very good with blood. It was while she was at nursing school, though, that she became interested in the treatments being used to care for those with burns. Around 1908, nearing 30, allegedly, Florence was encouraged to settle down and get married, but she went to New York instead. Florence joined her brother in the city, where she took a job as an assistant to a beautician by the name of Eleanor Adair. Eleanor had made a name for herself as a pioneer in beauty and cosmetics, with salons in the biggest cities in the world: Paris, New York, and London. Under Eleanor's tutelage, Florence learned how to offer her full gambit of treatments such as massage, electrolysis, facials, eye treatments, and, of course, weight reduction. A year later, Florence decided to strike out on her own, investing $1,000 to start her own salon on Fifth Avenue with business partner Elizabeth Hubbard. That would be around $32,000 in today's money. Despite the fact that Elizabeth's name was scrolled on the front of the salon, their partnership fizzled out only a few years later, leaving Florence as the sole proprietor of the business. She ended up scraping that gold Hubbard off the window and replacing it with Arden. Maybe it was because her favorite poem was Enoch Arden by Alfred Lloyd Tennyson, or maybe she took the name from railroad baron Edward Henry Harriman's estate named Arden. Edward had passed in 1909, and his death was widely reported, which would account for Florence seeing the name of his estate. Both accounts have been offered and are assumed conjecture. And with that, Florence Nightingale Graham became Elizabeth Arden, and her shop, Salon d'Oro. I'm sorry, my French is terrible. I'm a terrible half French Canadian. But it either could be Gold Salon or Salon of Gold, something like that. With the new name came a new approach. Elizabeth hired chemists to help her develop her own line of beauty products, launching her first face cream and lotion. She created her Venetian pore cream and Venetian eyelash grower, which she sold through the mail. She also convinced major department stores to carry her products. Now, you have to remember that around this time, beauty products were not seen as respectable. It was something for, well, prostitutes and the lower class, basically. But moves were being made across the pond by major retailer Henry Selfridge, founder of London's Selfridges. He believed that beauty products shouldn't be hidden like some dirty little secret. They were meant to be seen and to be tried, and so he put them at the front of his store. Elizabeth would travel to Paris and London, visiting local salons and retailers, always on the lookout for new products to bring back with her. She took in the fashionable women of Europe and was what was trending among the elite, bringing back her newfound concoctions to be analyzed by her own team of chemists. Given how progressive she was when it came to beauty and cosmetics, it shouldn't be surprising that Elizabeth supported the women's suffrage movement and marched with the suffragettes in 1912. There is a story that's been circulated for many years that she even had a special shade of red lipstick made that she applied to her fellow marchers so that they'd all match in solidarity. But there's no proof that that actually happened, even though it's a very lovely sentiment. In 1913, she continued to expand her business. She built out the New York location and opened up a new Salon d'Oro in Washington, D.C. This would lead to further expansion to San Francisco, Palm Beach, Boston, Detroit, and would include her own lab in her home base of New York. In the fall of 1915, she relocated her salon to a more prestigious address on Fifth Avenue, which allowed her to market her new location as the largest salon in New York. A stellar marketing move considering that her arch rival Helena Rubinstein had just opened her first American maison in New York that May. 1915 would prove to be a big year for Elizabeth as she also wed Thomas Jenkins Lewis, a banker, that November. The pair had met on the SS Olympic as Elizabeth had made her way home from Southampton in 1912. She made Thomas the general manager of her company, and his financial fortitude was a big help, even ushering her into the realm of wholesale. But she still wouldn't let him own stock in the company. Respect, Elizabeth. Respect. Despite the war, Elizabeth flourished, and in 1920 she expanded internationally, opening her first salon in Paris. She would continue to thrive even during the Great Depression when many floundered, with her company bringing in more than $4 million a year, which would equate to around $98 million in today's doll hairs. Her continued success allowed her to expand throughout Europe and the UK, opening more salons in London, Cannes, Biarritz, Madrid, Rome, and Berlin. She even got her products into the Australian market, which just so happened to be where dear Helena had gotten her start. She continued to revolutionize the cosmetics industry, offering more shade ranges and face powder and offering new products like eyeshadow and mascara. She offered soaps, deodorants, shampoos, bath salts, hair remover, and talcum powder, as well as products in convenient travel sizes for the woman on the go. Her reputation of being headstrong and ruthless didn't just help her grow her own empire, it helped her compete against rival cosmetics companies like Helena Rubinstein and Dorothy Gray. Dorothy, who had actually worked for Elizabeth as a treatment girl before getting the can for, and I quote, living with a man without benefit of clergy, which led to her opening her own salon in 1916. This did not sit well with Elizabeth, despite Dorothy's trajectory matching Elizabeth's exactly. While Elizabeth's professional life was thriving, her personal life wasn't so much. She divorced Thomas in 1934, and then he committed what might be the ultimate betrayal. He went to work for Helena Rubinstein. And while this was most likely hurtful, it was probably unsurprising. Elizabeth's rivalry with Helena was rife with accusations of copied products and stolen employees. A rivalry so iconic that it was immortalized in the book War Paint by Lindy Wright, as well as the musical of the same name, which was based both on Lindy's book and the documentary film The Powder and the Glory. As the Second World War raged on in the late 1930s, Elizabeth found a way to help boost morale for women who were working to support the war effort. In the early 1940s, she was approached to create a lipstick specifically for women in service. Elizabeth called the shade Montezuma Red, a vibrant red that matched the piping and red chevrons on their uniforms. It was issued to women in the military alongside a matching cream rouge and nail polish. The shade was so popular that the call went out for a civilian shade, and Elizabeth responded with Victory Red. While neither of these shades are produced today, both Elizabeth Arden's Red Door Red and Bessame's Victory Red are very close. But that wasn't the only iconic product that she launched. Her 8-hour cream was created in 1930 and was named as such after one of her clients used the balm on a cut on her child's knee. 8 hours later, she noted a marked improvement in the wound. In 1942, Elizabeth remarried, this time to Prince Michael Evlenov, a Russian émigré. Their marriage didn't last very long, though, and they parted ways in 1944. With Michael out of the picture, Elizabeth found a new love: horses. A year after divorcing Michael, she founded Main Chance Farm in Lexington, Kentucky, where she bred thoroughbred racing horses. She had previously raced under the name Mr. Nightingale before establishing the farm. And just like her beauty business, the farm flourished. Her first year out, her horses won $589,170 on the track, which would be around $10.4 million today. Not too shabby for a side hustle. The following year, she was featured on the cover of Time magazine alongside an article focusing on her success in the male-dominated industry. And then in 1947, her horse, Jet Pilot, won the Kentucky Derby. Elizabeth continued to grow her businesses and received the Légion d'honneur from the French government in 1962 in recognition of her contributions to the cosmetics industry. Sadly, 4 years later, she would pass away on October 18, 1966, after experiencing complications from a heart attack. She was around the age of 85 and had no heirs. Her company would go on to be sold to Eli Lilly and Company in 1971, who then sold it to Fabergé, yes, of the eggs, in 1987. 2 years later, they sold it to Unilever, and in 2001, it was sold again, this time to French Fragrance Inc., where the company became Elizabeth Arden Inc. and started selling public stock. Then, in September 2016, it became solely owned by Revlon Inc. Over the course of her 57 years in the industry, Elizabeth cultivated a cult following which included Marilyn Monroe and another Elizabeth, Elizabeth Windsor, the Queen of England, who favored her 8-hour cream and who Elizabeth Arden famously said was the only Elizabeth like her. Even after her death, her products continued to be a fan favorite among the likes of celebrities like Elizabeth Taylor, who created her first signature fragrance with the brand in 1987, Passion. She followed that up with her iconic 1991 perfume, White Diamonds, which remains a top seller for the brand. Another royal, Princess Diana, also favored the iconic 8-hour cream, a product that was featured in a little anecdote that her son, Prince Harry, wrote in his memoir Spare, where he detailed that upon enduring frostbite on his family jewels, he was recommended by a friend to put some magic cream on his royal scepter. He scoffed at the idea, saying that it reminded him of his late mother. "My mom used that on her lips," he remembered. "You want me to put that on my Todger?" Oh, Harry. Never a dull moment. In a capitalist world where everyone always wants the latest thing and overconsumption is always the latest trend, it says a lot that products that were created over 100 years ago still endure today. We could learn from Elizabeth by going back to basics and remembering that to be beautiful is the birthright of every woman or person. But it's an Arden quote, so you know, context of the times. In a world obsessed with the clean girl aesthetic, quiet luxury, and minimal makeup, indulging in a makeup routine that takes more than 5 minutes is now seen as something perfunctory or banal. But we are allowed to take care of ourselves in whatever way that allows us to show up for the day, whether that's a 40-minute makeup routine or a wisp of mascara and a dab of magic cream. Elizabeth broke down barriers to make makeup accessible to everyone. The woman invented the makeover for a reason. She wanted you to feel beautiful in your own skin, however it may. There's a quote from Elizabeth that resonated with me. "I don't sell cosmetics, I sell hope." There's a world out there that wants you to think that's silly. What kind of hope could makeup bring? Except that we know that makeup is powerful. It's political. We still live in a society that wants you to think that your red lipstick is for harlots and lesser thans. But it's an expression of who you are, who you know yourself to be, and who you want the world to see you as. And right now, I think we could all use just a little hope. And that's Elizabeth Arden. I've also realized in editing this as I go, because that's what happens when I'm alone, that I sound very congested in this one. What can I say? The rain is messing with my allergies. I'm just a stuffy kind of girl in a sinus kind of way, not a being kind of way. Yeah, I hope that you feel a little bit inspired by Elizabeth Arden, a woman who went against convention, did what she wanted to do, didn't feel the need to conform to societal pressures during a time when women weren't allowed to own anything. Like, she had to have all that money up front. So did Helena Rubinstein. Very impressive. Although there is the suspicion that Elizabeth might have had a lover who helped her finance her first venture. But you know what? If it's consensual, you get that bag, I guess. Anyway, I hope that you are doing okay. I hope that you are taking care of yourself. I hope that if you can buy yourself a little treat, you go buy yourself a little treat, and that you remember that your Canadian cult leader Megs has got your back. I stand with you. I'll try to bring you some levity for the next 4 years. Be kind to yourselves, be kind to each other, and maybe I can rope Auntie Amy into doing a podcast next week instead of every 2 weeks. We'll see. But I hope you're doing good. So I'll see you sooner rather than later, hopefully. Until then, stay safe, keep checking your candy, and may the cult be with you.